I would like to thank the Children's Museum and Midtown for hosting this event. If you could pinch me growing up on the east side of Indianapolis, if you told me I'd ever get a chance to speak at the Children's Museum when I get a little bit older, that would have been kind of a dream come true, that's for sure. So hopefully I'll be able to hit a couple big points for folks. Going to have to leave a few things out just to be able to hit all the big points about the state school voucher program, about the school choice scholarships and the tax credit scholarships, and a few of the other things that go along with that. So I will definitely make myself available outside as long as possible as I can. My baby girl, my 4-month-old baby girl, is being watched by grandmother tonight. She's not expecting me anytime soon, and I'm always happy to talk about with families about their children whenever they have the moment. So, and at our table, I have business cards out there, and you'll see my contact information on the last slide as well. So, if I can ever help, please don't hesitate to contact me. So School Choice Indiana is a nonpartisan statewide organization dedicated to expanding quality education options for Hoosier families. That's kind of a big way just to say that we think that the parent has the know-how and the ability to choose the best school for their child. They know that child better than anybody else could ever know that child. So there are three choice programs. I put quotations around the word choice because it kind of starts to be used so much that it almost loses any sort of significance when you talk about it. But in the orange, we have the state school voucher program. That's technically called the school choice scholarship. There's the improved tax credit scholarship program that the state introduced in 2009 and improved in 2011, 2013. And then in that bright yellow color at the bottom, I apologize if you cannot read that. That's the tax deduction program. But the state passed the tax credit program for the first time in 2009, the school voucher program for the first time in 2011, and both of those programs were just improved on, and that law went into effect on July 1st of this last school year. So the voucher is defined by the Department of Education paying for all or part of your child's private school education. The tax credit scholarship is state-approved non-for-profits called SGOs. That stands for Scholarship Granting Organization. But they can receive private donations to help pay for a private school's education. So it's the person who makes the scholarship funds available who gets the tax credit. It's not a parent using a tax credit to finance a private school. Okay, so it's just kind of a hard term to use when you're the end user. It's great if you're the lawmaker writing the law. It makes a lot of sense then, but when you're the one trying to use it, it's slightly confusing. And I apologize for the color at the bottom, but that is the definition of the tax deduction. That is current homeschool and private school families can take a new tax deduction on their state taxes. So before this state law passed, any parent who was paying for private school had no way to have any sort of tax reprieve for paying for their school out of pocket. You're always constantly using after-tax dollars to pay for that private school. So the eligibility requirements for the tax credit scholarship are very simple. They were just simplified by the state legislature this year, that new law that went into effect. But essentially all you need to do is be an Indiana resident and meet the income requirements. And there's going to be an income chart that I'm going to describe here in just a few minutes. So as you see here on this slide, it's a new slide to me, so I apologize if I'm looking at the screen just too much. But Indiana had the nation's first and second year largest school choice programs in the nation's history. So in the first year of the program, in the 2011-12 school year, we had 3,900 students that took advantage of the choice scholarship. In the second year, we saw that number more than double to 9,300 students, and we just got the reports in earlier this week on Monday that the enrollment for school vouchers for this school year is going to be just slightly over 20,000 people. So we see a lot of families who are interested in these programs, interested in taking advantage of these dollars to help select the best school for their child. So essentially, with the new law passing, we have 5 various pathways to using a voucher. We have the first-time voucher, students who are reapplying for the voucher, F-Schools voucher, vouchers for students who have siblings already using the choice scholarships, and a special needs voucher. So the general voucher is a child who's coming either from a public school or using a tax credit scholarship in the previous school year. We see students who are reapplying for a voucher. That child has essentially used a voucher in the previous school year. They kind of play by a slightly different income qualifications than other families may. There's the F school, when a child is assigned to a failing school. It wouldn't be a school that the child would eventually go to, and it's not the district the child's into. It's the school that the child would physically be in had they attended their assigned public school. There's also now the sibling voucher that allows siblings of children who received the choice scholarships in the previous school years can also become eligible. That might help families who already maybe have taken advantage of a voucher for a second or third grade child and would like to use that for an incoming kindergarten child. Before the new law passed, we weren't able to use a voucher for an incoming kindergarten child. That basically just helps folks, parents who might have transportation issues, and allows mom, instead of having to drop children off at several schools, allows them maybe one drop-off point instead of having to run around to several different places. And now we also have a special needs voucher, and that's typically just the child having a special need defined as an IEP and ISP. One of the most common questions I get with that is, do 504s count? 504 plans do not count when we're talking about those special needs. Depending upon the pathway that you would use, you'd end up getting the same voucher. So everyone's just kind of using a different path to get to the same end. But basically, you always need to be a state resident. You must meet the income requirements, and the income chart, I believe, is next. And you must meet the various pathway descriptions. If you'd like to know more about those specific descriptions on how that works, I'll be outside afterwards, or feel free to use the question bucket that they're passing around as well. So essentially, if we're looking at the voucher income eligibility chart here, we are always talking about household size, which is exactly what it means. Household's somewhat of a tricky thing, but honest to goodness, it means if Uncle Joe's out of a job and crashed on the couch, he counts towards your household count. So it can be anyone that's living in your economic unit within your home. So looking at your prototypical family of four, a family to receive the larger voucher, because the state has tiered the amount of the voucher into a 90% of the funding from your assigned public school or 50% of the funds. Essentially, that family needs to make less than $43,568 a year to receive the larger voucher. That's your adjusted gross income, so that's after some deductions. That same family of four, if they would like to receive the smaller voucher, the 50% voucher, I think if you live here in the district that we're talking about, I think the half voucher is worth something like $3,600 per school year. You have to make less than $65,000 a year, and for students who have special needs or students who are reapplying, those families need to make roughly less than $87,000 a year. A lot of folks kind of, when you start talking eligibility and income requirements, will kind of write things like this off, but I think something like close to two-thirds of Hoosier families will income qualify for the state school voucher program. This is my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to call me at that phone number or to email me. That phone number is to this phone here that's in my pocket, and my wife will tell you I answer it all too often. But honest to goodness, if I'm not in the office, I'm usually doing things like this to communicate these things to folks. So if you're free on a Friday night at 10 o'clock and you have a free minute to talk to your kids, that's my phone number. You're more than welcome to call me, and I'm happy to help however I can. So thank you for your time.